ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਮਾਈ ਸ਼ੋ ਹੌਟ ਸੀਟ ਟੁਡੇ ਵੀ ਆਰ joined by Michael Wood who was a former cabinet minister and immigration minister. Today we're going to discuss with him about the public values and all the issues been going on, and let's get started. Hello sir, welcome to the hot seat. First of all, I really appreciate your time and efforts to come down here, and how's the day going so far?
I'm having a great day. Busy day. I have to balance my time between family and my work and campaign. So I've had work on today, but meeting you now, and later on the day I'll be out with our volunteer teams knocking on the doors of Mount Roskill. So
how's your campaign going?
It's really good. Very positive is what I say.
That's pretty good.
We are very much running an old-fashioned campaign where we go out on the ground. We meet people face to face. My plan is to door knock on every single street in Mount Roskill, and we're getting great feedback. We're getting lots of new volunteers joining our campaign. People who want to see some positive change in our country and want to help me win the seat back for Labour.
That's pretty good, sir. I really wanted to start on with your early life a little bit, When you was in school, you always wanted to be a politician, or you have a different goal? Or
Well, I think when I was very young, I had all sorts of different ideas about what I wanted to do. A bit like my youngest boy at the moment, he wants to be an archaeologist. He loves dinosaurs, and that was a dream I had for a long time.
Oh, really?
But from quite early, I was very interested in politics.
That's pretty good.
I remember when I was 10 years old, very closely following the election that year, and I think it was just I didn't come from a political family. But I was just really interested in the idea of how do you achieve change within a community? How do you make things better? If you're here and you want to be there, what are the things you've got to do to make that progress in a community or a country? And ultimately, that's what politics is about.
So what changes you can see now in politics beforehand? Like what changes were that time and what changes you can see now in politics and you can do better in for the Mount Roskill?
Well, there's been a huge amount of change since that time. Look, I suppose that the main change that I see out in the community at the moment, which is not a positive one, is there's a real lack of hope at the moment. And if you ask me, what's the election about this year, and you take away all of the individual policies and debates, what's the one thing it's about? And what I'll say to you is, how do we make sure this is a country that once again our young people want to stay here and build their future in New Zealand? Because at the moment they're leaving in big numbers.
Or why they're leaving actually? Why they're leaving with big numbers? What's the main issues behind that?
Well, look, I think there is a bit of a lack of hope from a lot of younger people, but I always try and reduce things down to the simplest possible cause, what actually sits behind these issues. And I've always believed if you get the basics right in the country, people can afford a decent basic house, if they can get a good job with a fair income, if the cost of living is not sky high and they can put aside a little bit of money and they can have a nice little holiday with their families, if you get those basic things right, most people will be able to make a go of it. But the problem we have at the moment is that in all of those areas, people feel like things have gotten worse over the last few years rather than gotten better. So I think we've got to go back to those basics, dealing with people's home, making sure people have got a decent, affordable house, a good job, decent basic health care, cost of living, and people feel safe and secure in their communities.
One thing I really wanted to discuss with you, because there is a lot of jobs actually right now in the market, which is on the Sikh trade me as well. Why more people in New Zealand wants to stay on benefit than finding a job?
Well, the interesting thing there is I was the immigration minister 4 years ago. And actually at that time the problem we had in New Zealand was that there were too many jobs and not enough people. And so all of the pressure on me as immigration minister is, how can you make sure we bring in people to fill the jobs? We actually have the opposite situation now. Where actually there actually aren't enough jobs. Yes, there are more people on the benefit, that's true, but that's because the jobs have reduced. We have under this national government, we have about 40,000 more people who are unemployed. We've had record business closures, and that's because the economy has been strangled. People don't have any money in their pockets, so they're not going out and spending it, and companies left, right and centre are closing down and shedding jobs. So there are fewer jobs out there for people. And I'm really concerned in particular about what that means for young people, who are often the first people who lose their jobs or can't get into the labour market. That's why some of them are leaving,
Yeah.
but it's also why you have some social problems, because if young people aren't in education or work, that's where they can potentially start to drift into youth gangs and other activities that cause harm in our community. So the Labour Party, Labour means work.
Yeah.
We're about how you give people good, decent, dignified work so they can build their lives. And that's what I believe in.
And don't you think they got brainwashed by sort of people like Destiny churches and that people who don't want young people to grow, but what they're doing is brainwashing the people to getting back to a country, but when they already know migration is very important for this country. As you know, as an immigration minister, and when you was an immigration minister, you guys bring 2021 resident visas. What was the reasons behind that?
Yeah, well, I was really proud of the Resident Visa 21 program that we put in place.
Yeah.
And I regularly meet people who became residents and have been able to contribute to New Zealand since then. That was the period after COVID where our country had been through a lot.
Yeah, the COVID time.
And I remember, sitting down with other ministers in Jacinda Ardern's government, and we talked a lot about this. We had this group of people on work visas who had stayed in New Zealand, who had been a part of our team of 5 million, who had been separated from people back home. And we also had a need in New Zealand to make sure we kept skilled people here. And so it felt like us that both it was the morally right thing to do, but also the right thing for New Zealand to give those people security to be able to settle here. And it was about 200,000 people who benefited from that. And that was something that I was proud of as a Labour minister that we were able to deliver.
Yeah, that was a good one. And the other thing is they've been working hard as well. And they've been working hard from day one until now as well. But they're still lacking the safety from government, because especially a lot of other comments when I read from different people like Destiny churches, they've been abusing the culture actually. They've been abusing the immigrations. They've been abusing the people who are working hard here, and they've been telling they have to go out of the country when they actually don't know. Immigrants are putting more contributions in this country than anyone else. What's your ideas about that?
Well, look, these sort of comments that you get from, Brian Tamaki and Destiny Church, but also government ministers like Shane Jones. They are ignorant and they are cynical. Number one, New Zealand has always been a country that has been made up of people who migrate here, including my ancestors, including Shane Jones's Croatian ancestors 140 years ago. The Indian community in New Zealand is not a new community. Indian people have been contributing to New Zealand since the 19th century, growing food, running businesses, employing people, working in factories, working in schools, working in hospitals, and we couldn't run this country without the contributions of our migrant communities. Here's the key thing I would say, is it's always the case, and this is an old story, in a time of economic stress, when people are feeling economic pain, you will get populist leaders, whether it's Shane Jones or Brian Tamaki or Pauline Hanson or Donald Trump or Nigel Farage, you can go on, they will take advantage of that. And they'll say to people, you're feeling pain in your life. Blame the immigrants. Blame Maori people. Blame the rainbow communities. And that's what you see with all of these people. And so, yes, we have it from Destiny Church with their disgusting, violent comments, which are aimed at marginalising our migrant communities and Indian communities. But you've seen it from this government with their attacks on Māori as well, with their attacks on rainbow communities. And if there's one message I'd get out to people, we shouldn't fall for this. These guys are trying to distract us from the real issues. And actually we need to come together, and we need leadership that unites our country, not that divides us.
Yes, definitely. And what sort of boundaries do we have to set for people like Brian Tamaki or Destiny churches so they can stay in their limits rather than come out and start talking about immigrants who are actually working hard? To be honest, there needs to be some sort of boundaries set. Like, you can't just come and attack migrant communities when they're working hard, not on the benefits. So what sort of boundaries do you think we have to set for them in a legal way?
Well, look, this is one of the challenging areas we have in a free and democratic society. We do have freedom of speech. And people have a right to give their views, even if their views are stupid and ignorant and vile and you disagree with them. And I can say that about Brian Tamaki's comments and Shane Jones's comments. You do actually have a right to express your views. That the boundaries that we put in place in New Zealand where that commentary gets into a zone where it might be inciting or encouraging violence against people.
Yeah.
And I've got to say that when I heard Brian Tamaki's comments earlier this week, I think it's getting into that zone now.
Yeah.
When he's using words like purge,
Yes.
when he's talking about burning down religious institutions, I think he's getting into that zone. Now, the decisions on that should never be made by politicians, because you don't want politicians attacking their opponents.
Yes.
Those decisions are for police and other authorities to make.
Yes.
But that is where we draw the line in New Zealand. Yes, you can have your freedom of speech. Yes, we can debate policy and ideas, but you don't demonise people and use language in such a way that could cause that kind of real physical violence and harm. And look, we're a country that not that long ago had the tragedy of the Christchurch massacre.
Exactly.
Because we had that kind of violent, far-right rhetoric.
Yes.
And that's not who we are as a country. That's what Jacinda said.
Yes.
And I'd say, aside from the law, what we have to do is have other leaders and other communities standing up as one and saying, we're going to show solidarity with each other and we're going to marginalise those extremist and divisive views.
Yes. And like coming from your point, expressing views is actually really important, but don't you think government needs to bring something that can control the limits? Because Brian Tamaki is not expressing his views, he's actually attacking some sort of cultures and religions, like especially as a Sikh, I'm born in Sikh family, he's attacking on turbans, he's attacking on like kirpans where people wear, he's attacking on Hindu temples, he's attacking on Muslim temples. Don't you think that some sort of government needs to come up with some sort of limits so then they can charge him for some sort of this sort of actions?
Yeah. Well, look, the first thing I'd say, and I say this as a practicing Christian myself, is that Brian Tamaki with those very bigoted, small-minded views is the very worst kind of religious person.
Yes.
I'm a practicing Christian. I attend church here in Mount Roskill, and it's an important part of my life.
Yeah.
But when I visit a gurdwara or a mandir or a temple or a mosque with an open mind and an open heart, you actually learn from other people, and you can actually widen your own view and strengthen your own faith.
Yes.
We don't need to look at other faiths and cultures as a threat to us.
Yes.
In fact, that's a sign of weakness.
Yes.
If you're strong and confident in your own faith and identity, you have no problem identifying and learning from others, and I find it enriches our community. On the question of, do you want a law that goes more deeply into prohibiting what people say, I do think you need to be cautious about that. I think we did have a process in the last term of government where we examined potentially strengthening the hate speech laws.
Yes.
And I think it's an ongoing subject of discussion.
Yes.
But I actually think the very best thing in this is actually for other people to speak up. And that is one of the benefits of a society in which you do have relative freedom of speech. It's not absolute. Is other people can stand up and make the positive arguments. And so one thing I was really encouraged by this week is you saw a large group of Christian leaders come out and say, Brian Tamaki does not speak to us.
Yes.
That is not actually the message of the Christian church or of Jesus Christ or of most Christians in New Zealand. His view is the extremist minority one, and we should reject it.
I really appreciate that, because I wanted to highlight to people as well, like you go to church, you know about church and everything, and like you discussed with me about reading about Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he's a Sikh leader. And this is sort of respect that you give to all other religions. That's called a real Christian, not like giving a hate speeches and bring that. So what you learn about Maharaja Ranjit Singh when he said about, you learn about.
Yeah, well, I mean, just one thing first on, that broader idea of us being respectful of each other. One of the defining characteristics of the Christian faith and many other faiths is we're told to be humble.
Yes.
Yes, live a good life. Yes, live according to your beliefs.
Yes.
But be humble. I don't know it all.
Yes.
I haven't worked out the meaning of the universe and everything about God.
Yes.
Other people have wisdom as well.
Yes.
And you should respect that. But on to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who we were talking about.
Yes.
I love history.
Yes.
And I've been listening this year to a great history podcast, which is called Empire, by a historian called William Dalrymple.
Yes.
And his area of expertise is the Indian subcontinent.
Yes.
And as he rightly points out, before the colonial era, about a quarter of global GDP
Yes.
was produced on the Indian subcontinent.
Yes.
And he did a wonderful series on Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Lion of Punjab, and the
Yes.
Sikh Empire.
Yes.
And I just thought it was incredible history. Yes, he was an amazing military and political leader.
Yes.
He managed to unite his people.
Yes.
He, for a long period of time, was able to resist those incursions of
Yes.
the British colonial interests in India. He was
Yes.
sort of the lone bastion standing
Yes.
against them. But actually, to our earlier point, he was also a very enlightened man. And
Yes.
one of the things that always comes through about the Sikh court
Yes.
is that it was often a place in which actually other faiths and religions were respected
Exactly.
and had a place within that court, including often senior advisors and officials within
Yes.
his government.
And different religions of those people as well.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And again, that's actually a sign of a strong society,
Yes.
that you're able to welcome other faiths.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
cultures
So
in.
this is our background as well, because we like to serve people and we always stay humble.
Yeah.
That's why we learn from Maharaja Ranjit Singh. They are our idols, and that's what they teach us as well.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that you learn about him. I really respect
Yeah.
that and I appreciate that.
No problem. Look, I've always, when I visit a Gurdwara, I've always felt a sense of connection in terms of values.
Yes.
The idea of the langar being a place where
Exactly.
anyone, no matter can come and be served and fed.
Yes.
The fact that in that Gurdwara,
Yes.
everyone is equal, whether you're a
Everyone.
prince or a pauper,
Exactly.
you're on the same level.
Yes.
And those, politically for me, those are my values and the values of the Labour Party. So I've always sort of felt that sense of connection and,
Yes.
and really admired that part
Yes.
of the Sikh faith and tradition.
I appreciate that so much from you, sir. And I really wanted to get back on Mount Roskill a little bit. Like you been seeing Mount Roskill from long time, what are the areas you think people are actually struggling now,
Yeah.
which you can change if you got elected?
Yeah. So I've been out door knocking since January.
Yeah.
Thousands of houses, meeting with people face to face.
Yes.
And when I ask them on every time someone answers that door, I say, can you please tell me what is most important for you this year? What do you want us to know? What do you want us to change?
Yes.
And I've got to say that the single biggest issue, 90% plus of people do identify how tough life is with the cost of living challenges that they face at the moment. Nearly everyone is finding it difficult. Your groceries, your petrol, your wages are not keeping up,
Yes.
your power bill, your doctor's bill, and people are just feeling very ground down. And then people are losing their jobs.
Yes.
People in small businesses are having to close up and finding life tough. So we've got to, and again, I'll go back to the idea of just keeping it pretty simple.
Yeah.
The reason these problems are, there are some external causes. Okay,
Yes.
petrol prices, war in Iran. No one's saying that's the government's fault.
Yes.
But the government still has choices about what support it will give to people and what it will prioritise. And this government hasn't chosen to support people with those. So when I was the Minister of Transport, we reduced the fuel excise duty by 25 cents a litre when the petrol price went up when Russia invaded Ukraine. This government's done nothing. In fact, they've put up a lot of costs for people. So I think we've just got to put a bit of money back in people's pockets so they can deal with these challenges. That's why things like our public transport fare cap and cheaper doctors' visits are an important part of it.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
And the thing about that, if you do that, you ease the cost of living pressure on ordinary people, but actually those people then go out into their local community and spend it in local businesses.
Yes.
And you'll start to get the economy moving again and start getting people employed again.
Yes.
Whereas at the moment, everything's just frozen up.
Yeah. There is one thing come up in my mind right now, sir. When Jacinda was in power, like you done amazing job as a Minister of Immigration, Minister of Transport, When Jacinda was in power, I don't understand why she hand out so much money to gang. Like, I don't think so anyone would be agree with that. Like, what was the reason behind that, giving so much money to the gang, Mongo Mob gang?
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where
That was a weakness point actually for the government, sir.
it was certainly one where there was a perception around it that I think did hurt us. But it was also one of those ones where the issue was, simplified in some of the media analysis. So there wasn't a whole lot of money that was given out to gangs. I can be very clear about that. There was a specific program which was about how do you get people off meth and other serious drugs.
Gang members.
And in some cases, there were organisations that did have gang members involved in that. So, tough issue. What do? Do you say we won't ever put any money into those organisations because they've got gang members in there? Or if those organisations are actually effective of getting people off meth and other drugs like that, do you say there's a benefit for society in that? So it's a tough issue. And
no, but to be honest, I'm being straightforward.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are actually producing meth, and those are the monger mob. You know, I'm being straightforward. That is the only thing which makes our people think that we work hard, paying taxes, and where the money is going to the gang. And those are the biggest producers of meth. Yeah, actually.
The way I'd put it is this, and look, it's a complex issue and one that is worth us reflecting on.
Yes.
So I don't dismiss the concern entirely, but the contra argument I would put is this: if those programs got a decent number of people off meth, it will save you as the taxpayer money. Yes. Because every time you get someone addicted to meth, they're going out and they're committing crime, they're robbing stores, they're ending up in prison where they cost $100,000 a year, then they're ending up in hospitals, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So sometimes actually, even though we live in a complicated society, a bit of money can actually save, in the short term, can actually save you a lot of money in the long term.
Oh yeah, so let's see that one. And what sort of programs are you guys going to bring up for the young people who's on benefit so they can get off the benefit and start working? Yeah,
well look, we announced a great new policy yesterday, which is an extension of the apprenticeship boost. Yeah. We want to get young people into training and work.
Yes.
It's bad news.
Exactly.
For them to not be in there. Yeah. So the apprenticeship boost is something that we put in when we were in government.
Yes.
And what it means is that if an employer is taking on a young person as an apprentice, they could be a carpenter or a labourer or a chef or something like that. The government will pay that employer a monthly supplement.
Nice.
To encourage them to support and keep that young person on, give them the training and skills. And of course, when that young person first comes on, they're not so productive for the employer. So the employer's taking on some cost.
Yes.
So this is the way of the government saying, we'll shoulder some of that cost to help you employ that young person, get them some skills, some confidence, and get them into the workforce.
Yes.
This government cut back that program to only 1 year, and we want to extend it out to 2 years and strengthen it in some other ways as well. So we're really focused.
So that's pretty good.
On how do we get young people into work? That's so important.
And according to your knowledge, when people actually start blaming migrant community that even if they're working 2-3 jobs, they say, oh, they're taking our jobs, when there is heaps of jobs. When they say they're taking our jobs and they should go back to their own country, what's your points on that?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say there's heaps of jobs at the moment. There is a shortage of jobs at the moment. Our economy is really struggling under this government. Yeah. But it is wrong to blame migrants for that. Yes. We still need migrants to fill many key areas where there is a shortage of work. So, for example, go into a rest home. Yes. And you will find that the majority of people working in those rest homes, very important work, are a migrant workforce.
Exactly.
And there isn't a domestic workforce available to do that.
That's exactly.
But it's just completely wrong to blame migrants for the fact that some other people are struggling to get work in this economy. We actually need the government to focus on creating jobs in the economy. Exactly. And that's my earlier point. Yes. All of this political noise, blame migrants, blame Maori, blame these other people. Yes. It's about distracting people's attention from the real issue, which is that this government has managed the economy poorly and people are struggling as a result. Let's just fix the real problems instead of blaming each other. Yeah, let's get a short thing about the free trade deal with India. Yeah. What do you think about that? Yeah, hey, well, look, it's good news. Yes. We have a strong relationship with India, and it's a great platform to grow the trading relationship to benefit both countries. Yeah. Why the other parties are thinking is not beneficial? Yeah. Some of the parties in Parliament, I don't want to mention their parties. But yeah. Well, look, it's fair to say that Labor examined the deal carefully. Yeah. We did have some concerns about it. It's not the best free trade agreement that's ever been negotiated, but it opens the door. It opens the door in some areas, and Labor was able to negotiate some extra provisions that made us more comfortable. So we've got extra labour inspectors to reduce migrant exploitation. We got the government to agree to commit to modern slavery legislation as a result. That's pretty good. I think these other parties, it's New Zealand First in particular, have just decided that they're going to make immigration an election year issue.
Yes.
And so you hear from them that this is going to, all this sort of language, the tsunami, it's going to open the doors, and most of it's just rubbish.
This year is actually, with my point of view, I only notice migration policy to play out with politicians this year. It's really a big year for just blame immigrants and start playing that card.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, and we've seen that with New Zealand First in the past, unfortunately. And so that's something as a country this election year, I think we've got to stand up against that. And we've got to say that we don't want that in our politics, actually. We've always been a country which, of course, we have to manage our immigration policy. We don't actually have open doors. We have policies which very carefully look at where have we got shortages. Where do we need people? Are there New Zealanders to fill those roles? And if not, then you look to migrant labour to support us in those areas. So that's the right approach. And you can always have debates about exactly how the policy works and is it drawn in quite the right place. That's all okay. But what we are just seeing right now is pure migrant bashing and race baiting. And we must reject that entirely. And I think we must reject entirely the parties and the people who are part of that.
Yes, exactly. And who motivates you most to be a great leader?
Well, look, I can think about a number of people. In politics, a couple of Labour leaders who I really admired were Helen Clark. And Peter Fraser. He was a long time ago. He was the second Labour Party leader who led New Zealand during the Second World War. And what I admired about those people, they had very strong Labour Party values. They wanted to uplift the poor. They wanted to build a strong egalitarian society. So they had the heart for these things. But they also had the practical head to say, and then how do we practically make changes that turn that dream into reality? And I think that is the art of politics.
That's pretty good.
If I go outside of politics, and my childhood hero, he's still one of my heroes, is Martin Crowe. I love cricket. And he was just the most wonderful cricketer. But then later in life, when, very sadly, he became very ill and died. At the time of the Cricket World Cup, when it was in New Zealand, actually. And I remember seeing him getting a special cap at Eden Park. He became a very reflective person, and he reflected on his life and the fact that sometimes in his life he'd got things wrong. And what was really important in life was contributing and the people that you care about. So I just thought he was a great example of a person who achieved at a high level, but then also discovered humility in his life, and that's something we can all learn from.
And how do you want people to remember you?
I hope that people remember me. Look, I'm in the Labour Party because I believe that we need a government that serves ordinary working people. You want a society in which every person can have security and opportunity and thrive in their lives. And I hope that people, at whatever time they look back on my contribution to public life, feel that I've made a real contribution in that space. And look, I hope, more broadly, people just think that I'm someone who always did what I did for the right reasons. In life, we all get things right and wrong. Every single person, even the people we admire the most. But I hope that people think that he was in there for the right reasons. He was trying to make a positive difference.
And what's your advice for the young leaders?
For people wanting to get in politics, you're thinking in particular?
In the politics or in their life as well, because you've gone through so much up and downs. And what's your advice for the young leaders who want to be in politicians or in their life?
Number one, really be clear about what it is that you're wanting to achieve and the difference you want to make. I do see sometimes in our modern world of social media, it's all just kind of about me, and how many people are following me and how many people like me. And okay, maybe that makes you feel good in the moment, but that doesn't actually change anything. Actually think about what is the change that you want to try, positive change you want to try and make in the world, whether it's quite local, whether it's in a business, whether it's in politics, whether it's in an NGO, whether it's a huge international issue. How do you want to actually contribute to something meaningful? I think that's important. Understand that it's never smooth sailing, it's never all up. There'll be big ups and downs within that, and the more you try and achieve, the bigger will be the ups and downs. And know that within that there'll be some people who aren't around. So make sure you've got a small number of really good people around you that you trust, that you support each other, you've got each other's back.
That's pretty good, sir. And at the end, I really appreciate your time, by the way. And I want you to tell something to your voters or What you want to tell your voters for the upcoming elections?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, for people who are voting in Mount Roskill at the election this year, this has been my home for 23 years. It's where I've raised my family, and Mount Roskill's given me and my family everything that we have. Our kids go to our local schools, our friends are here. We just love this place. I want to see this community have a really strong voice. We've been abandoned over the last few years. We see huge, big, undeveloped housing sites in Mount Roskill that the government's worked away from. We see small businesses who are struggling. We see people losing their jobs. We see people struggling with the cost of living and young people leaving our community and our country. I'm someone who's served in government, who knows how to make real change, who's got the experience to speak up for our community and not be afraid of speaking truth to people in powerful positions. So I seek your support this election to once again be your Member of Parliament so I can be a strong voice for this community. And my commitment is to always front up face to face and talk with you about the real issues and how we can work together to make this the best place possible for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and insights, sir. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to see you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.